Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today.
I'm Mandy Pallone.
I'm Anthony Meisner, and we just wanted to bring you the top 3 things that sellers need to know this month.
And this is for Boulder County, right?
It is for Boulder County, but honestly, across most marketplaces, especially here in the Colorado Front Range, this is going to be really, really similar. So
Yes.
let's get into this a little bit, and let me get us out of the way so you can actually see what's going on. But the first one I think that we need to talk about is the fact that inventory for the first 3 months of the year has remained stable.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which seems crazy. I need you to explain this. I'm really glad we do these calls together because you see this data all the time, and I'm like, wait a second.
We really do work well together like this because you keep me in the loop on a lot of things that I need to know. I feel like I do that for you.
I'm like, I need this in normal terms.
Okay, so here's normal terms. I say inventory remains stable, as in like it's been the same every month for the first 3 months of the year. You can see it right here in the blue line. That blue line is flat, right?
It's 500. Like dark blue.
Yep. No, dark navy blue. So we had 580 last month, 592 listings this month. That's units on the market, right? Total units in Boulder County. Well, the one thing that's not stable is we're going through traditional seasonality in a spring market. So every month we're seeing more listings, but buyers have been putting them all under contract and keeping the inventory level flat. Now, we saw it in 2019, and 2019 is a really good example of a rising inventory market that we are probably most likely in a similar market today, right? Things don't feel great in the economy, but it doesn't look like a cliff or something crazy that's happening. What it is going to feel like is a rising inventory as interest rates are not real favorable. And honestly, this is kind of a surprise to most people because I would have assumed we would have already seen a huge rise in inventory because interest rates are not friendly, right? And we'll talk about that at some point, but inventory is stable.
Yeah.
New listings are coming on the market, really similar to last year, right? Only down 9%, like in total amount coming onto the market. So that's a good sign. This is a really healthy seasonal market that feels like pre-pandemic times.
Okay, so this says 466 new listings. Last month it was only 357.
Yep.
But they're staying active, so they're putting them under contract.
So most of those have to be going under contract, or the active units on the market would be changing.
Okay.
So the vast majority of those have gone under contract every month.
So the buyers are eating them up.
Buyers are eating them up. It's a competitive buyer's market in spring traditionally, right? I mean, that's when buyers come to market early. And then as the season goes on, we kind of chip away at all those buyer needs. And then by, middle of summer, when inventory starts to really hit its peak, it's because there's more sellers than buyers for the first time, right? So the first part of the year, there's more buyers than sellers traditionally. Okay, number 2, lots of buyers. There's lots of competition, which is what we just started to talk about. But this is a good one too, because you can see the pendings, even though they're not as big as the new listings coming to market, they're on a trajectory better than 2019, nowhere near where we were a year ago. But honestly, we couldn't have expected it to be where we were a year ago, right? And honestly, it was unsustainable. So this is we're back to a healthy traditional seasonal market. And I think that's really great.
Back to pre-pandemic things.
That's right.
But it's crazy because they're now, since the pandemic, all the sellers and everything they've heard on the news has been, everything's bonkers, and sellers feel like they are in the driver's seat. And, they still may be, but
they are a little bit. We'll show.
You need to set the expectations with them of, we're going to get back into normal seasonal trends.
Absolutely. Here's the next thing this is a true spring market, right? And I said that before, but it's a seasonal spring market. What that means is it means the market's going to accelerate every single month through May or June, right? The navy blue is this year. The green line is 2019. The line that is really next to that as well is kind of yellowish looking or orange. That one was 2020. We were not in a pandemic during this time period back then, right? That was pre-pandemic. They all feel the same, right? So you're going to see the market speed up. That means active to under contract time gets faster and faster and faster as we go through the spring market. That's pretty normal. We should know that as a seller. So if you list a house now, it's going to go under contract faster than it did in March. But then you've got basically what is the slide that represents bidding wars in the marketplace, right? So how competitive is the market? Well, the percentage close price to list price is 99.8% right now. We're outperforming 2019. It's a really good spring market. There's a lot of buyer demand. There's not a lot of inventory, so it's a seller's market. But there's competition, right? Like there's
Mhm.
bidding wars taking place out there. There's all kinds of extreme situations that we hear about. But when I say there are bidding wars, that is not what we felt the last couple of years. I mean, it
Right.
was crazy the last couple of years. We're getting more to a traditional market, and that's really healthy.
Yeah. Looks good. And then that blue 2022 line, that light blue line in the percent closed price to list price, that is just crazy.
Well, and I don't know if you'll ever see that again. Right? I mean,
No.
that's something that was the anomaly for a couple of years because of the pandemic,
Yeah.
and because we really just had a major change in a lot of real estate.
Mhm.
So let's just hope we don't get there again because we can't really handle that, right?
Mhm.
Otherwise, the affordability changes dramatically.
Yeah, but we're not seeing any real concessions. I've had a few concessions that have come through on deals, and then appraisals may be coming in low, or something happens with the concession. We're not easily getting any concessions or discounts on the prices right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked to a lot of people about this, and if you get an offer that's 30,000 over asking price right now, that could easily happen. But you also might have to give up a few things to get it to the closing table, like either
Mhm.
concessions from the seller or a new roof or a new furnace or something, because the buyer and the seller actually have to brush off their negotiating skills. It's not like it was where they just throw everything they had at it and be like, "That's the best we've got," right?
Mhm.
Because we'll give you anything for this house,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
this is good, right? We're getting back to a more healthy market.
Mhm.
All right, so this is your slide, your favorite slide.
Oh my gosh. I wish it was my favorite slide this week. It is not this week.
Fair enough.
2 weeks ago, we were feeling really good that we loved this upward trend in where the rates were headed. But we knew that some of the economic reports that were going to come out were going to be a little rocky in April, and that's exactly what we're seeing. So it's been, a mix of jobs reports and, things going on internationally about the dollar and things like that. Everybody in our world is feeling like a recession is imminent, and that how can they not see it? And that, the Fed's overcorrected and they've raised interest rates and collapsed banks and things like that. And so,
They're all
the
real valid points,
I
right?
know,
I'm still
right?
trying to figure out when the Fed's going to figure it out.
Right. So the
But
Fed
there's
keeps
another side of the coin.
Yeah, so this morning we had another Fed chair coming out saying that they wanted to do another 75 basis point rate hike, and it's like they don't get it. So they're looking at, Barry Habib, one of my favorite economists to watch. He says that they're looking in the rear view mirror. They're driving a car and looking in the rear view mirror. They're not looking at what's happening now. They're looking at trailing data of 12 months. So
That's so insane because honestly, what they're doing affects the market 12 months from now.
right.
So if they don't have any foresight at all,
Mhm.
this could be a way worse recession if they keep raising rates like
Right,
that.
right.
Yeah.
So the market's not responding to anything great right now, but we are still circling May 10th. And basically, what happens is we know that May 10th, we're going to get some inflation numbers out, and it's a 12-month period of where they're going to take the average. Some of those higher numbers that were in the beginning of last year are going to drop off. So the average is going to come down. And so we're hoping that that inflation number comes down, and then we'll see interest rates do a little bit better.
That would be nice.
It would be nice.
Speaking of interest rates, did you want to talk a little bit about these while we
Yeah.
have them up? Here.
So here we go. So we're probably in the mid sixes now. I've quoted a few that people were a little shocked in 6.5, 6.625. And then, if you have any specialty things going on, like if your credit is not perfect or if you have a condo, those are going to affect the rate, and we could be in the sevens. So if you're an agent listening to this and you've heard us say, 5.99, we're comfortable in the fives, we're doing really well. That was kind of short-lived. But hopefully we'll get down there soon. But yeah, I would say low sixes, mid sixes is where we're at now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. And honestly, it will continue to bounce around until everything continues to favorably trend in the same direction. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why the economists nationally are having a hard time making up their mind.
Yeah. And you know, now we're close enough to that May 10th date that we've been so anxiously awaiting that you know, we can renegotiate rates if rates come down.
Nice.
So we'll see, but nothing to get too alarmed about. But we knew April was going to be rocky, and sure enough, here it is.
Sure enough, here it is.
Mhm. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. Those were your top 3 seller tips. Join us next week. We're going to talk about the top 3 investor tips for the month, and we'll just keep bringing you the latest and greatest all the time.
Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.